In today's lesson, we're going to spend a few minutes reviewing for our quiz, which is on Friday. On that quiz, we'll see expressions, we'll see translations, order of operations, and evaluations. So let's take a look at a few of each. Translations. Let's take our verbal expressions and convert those either into numeric or algebraic. A number increased by tells me I'm adding some number, I'll pick a variable x, increased by 6. Twice a number, less 9. Twice a number would be 2 times x, less means subtract, less 9. The difference, key words, the difference of 10 and a number. 10 minus x. Product, multiply. 8 times 4. So we had 3 algebraic and 1 numeric expression translated there. Another skill we needed to review for Friday's quiz would be order of operations. We'll take this one step at a time, PEMDAS and the left to right rule. I'm noticing in this parenthesis there are 2 operations, so I'll start with my left to right. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 plus 5. And then I have 4 squared. Well, 3 plus 5 plus 16. Left to right, I have 8. 8 plus 16 will give me 24. I only have 2 operations in number 6. I'll use that left to right rule again. 18 divided by 6 is 3. And 3 times 3. Oops. Sorry about that. 3 times 3. Will give me 9. And there's some examples of our order of operations. On to evaluations, where we see algebraic expressions and values to replace the variables with. 4 times 7 plus 2 times 6. Now we have our order of operations. I have 28 plus 12. Adding those together gives me 40. In number 8, I'm going to take 8 and square it and multiply it also by 3. That will give me 8 times 8, which is 64. 3 times 8 is 24. I'm going to subtract, and it looks like once again I have 40. On to our last review problem for today. 3 times 3 squared plus 4 times 3. Well, 3 squared is 9, and 3 times 3 is 3 times 9 is 27, and 27 plus 12 will give me 39. Well, there's just a quick review of those problems. We still have another day to practice. On to our new lesson. We're going to talk about integers and absolute value. Well, what exactly is an integer? It's a set of real numbers that are just the whole numbers. It's the positive numbers, their opposites, which are negative, and it includes 0. So it might look something like this. It goes into negative infinity, and I could have -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and into positive infinity. So that would be our set. Integers can be represented on the number line, and if you see here, I have represented A, C, and B, and I use a closed circle to graph them on a number line. So here we see the representation with a closed circle or dot. I then can use this number line to order from least to greatest, this would be A is less than C, and C is less than B. And not only can I write them in ascending order, as I did here, I can do some comparisons. I could say that C, which is 0, is less than 4. So 0 is less than 4. That's a true statement. I could also say that B, which is 4, is greater than -2. We can use that as a tool to compare. Absolute value was the next part of this lesson. Absolute value is represented by this pair of lines, parallel lines. Absolute value tells me a number's distance from 0. How far is that number from 0? Well, if I'm looking at 2, which is now graphed with this solid circle or dot at 2, it is actually 2 places from the origin. The same is true from -2. It is 2 spaces. It's talking about distance, and distance is always, always positive. Now, as I'm looking at this, every once in a while, if you're looking at an expression, you might see this negative on the outside, and that is simply read the opposite of the absolute value. And the opposite of the absolute value of 2 would be -2. Now, one other thing we might encounter is that there will be times where we'll see expressions, and these expressions need to be simplified, but if there's an order of operations that we're looking at, and we see absolute value in there, well, we're going to perform the absolute value as a grouping symbol. We're going to look at that and simplify that first so that we can find our answers. So let's take a look at the one on the left. 10 minus 6 is 4, and the absolute value of 4 is 4. So that gives me 4 minus 3, which equals 1. In my second one, I have -7 plus 3, and that's asking me for the absolute value of -4, and then adding 5. Absolute value of -4 would be 4, and 4 plus 5 is 9. Just something else to add as we're simplifying expressions. When we meet today, I'll take it a little step further, and we'll talk a little bit about statements and how we can translate these statements in regards to integers. So until then, we'll meet up at our Zoom at 5th period, I believe, today. Let's see, no, that's 4th period. Yes, 4th period today. And until then, I hope you have a nice